The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us part of your day, however you may do it, which means over the air, streaming at the KSL Sports app, our friends in the future who podcast, and streaming on YouTube and KSLSports.com. And we have been having issues with the YouTube. They are now resolved.
It's back.
It's back. You can see Ben and how grossly thin he is.
This is Ozzy Osbourne's daughter. She's mad right now, Kelly. Kelly Osbourne's mad that people are talking about her current physique. She's lost a lot of weight. Yep, she's all right.
She has, but, good times. I was surprised when you told me you were going on the jab, but, I thought you'd sign up for soda or something like that with DJ.
They put us on TV.
Yeah.
Like that?
I mean, I didn't think you needed it.
My best.
Frankly.
My wife said I needed it.
Oh, that's rough.
Really? We got married.
She sat you down and
now
had that
I get
convo?
to make the rules. Crossed a lot of things out of my diet. Said, here's the jab.
Oh, man, your body's been getting a little soft, dear.
It's not happening after our wedding.
That's not a marryable body there.
Yeah. Well, that's what she said. So, I captain. Whatever you say.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, that's rough. That her. Oh, what she did say? What was the thing she admitted?
Shreked.
She was shrekking when she was dating you, which is you date a mutant on purpose because they treat you better. What's the theory? Right.
Essentially, shrekking is you date somebody who's below your normal standards because then they have no hope but to live up to be the best person they could for you because they don't. They're not good enough for you.
I thought it was to feel better about themselves because they're better than you from a looks standpoint.
That's absolutely part of it.
And that people who are not good looking are have to be nicer.
There's a security.
Like good looking people don't treat people well, but ugly mutant people are generally nicer.
That's definitely part of it. So she married the ugly mutant, and
I know
I have to be nice to her.
Except for Shrek was not thin. You're quite thin.
Yeah, she's trying to stop me from being Shrek. Right now, I'm more donkey than Shrek.
Get ahead of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It makes a ton of sense.
Well, it's funny. It's the AAU conversation you were having, which is the ugly coach is afraid to talk to the superstar beauty queen player and doesn't know how to correct the behavior. Because what are they going to do? I've got a beauty queen for a player. I can't fix it. And I do think that's the issue that teams are running into. And I'm honestly curious, here's the thing. A.J. DeBonce is nearly a perfect player. His defense got to get a lot better, and obviously he doesn't make every shot. But, what is Kevin Young supposed to tell A.J. DeBonce to start doing better? Now, there are, hey, man, you're in the wrong rotation. Hey, your closeouts are, the technique is a little wrong on them. You're jumping too early or jumping too late, or you need to go to one side rather than the other. There's all sorts of ways to improve. But I do wonder, the concept of getting better in college, how much of that is what a coach is doing, and how much of that is, A.J. DeBonce has now played 30 more games at a higher level than he's ever played before with, better players, and that's just going to make him a much better, prospect once he gets to the pros.
It's the latter. But honestly, coaches' jobs, and they won't tell you this now because they're always recruiting, but Kevin Young's job is not to develop A.J. DeBonce for the pros. That's not what's going to keep him in that position. That's not actually his job. Now, if that's a byproduct of his job, then he can go out and sell it in recruiting or whatever. But it's not actually his job. His job is for Brigham Young University to win basketball games and to succeed at the highest level possible. That is his job, certainly his job at the moment. The problem is that how do you get somebody to play hard, to your point, is not your typical X's and O's coach. Kevin Young, I'm sure, can tell you till he's blue in the face exactly how you fundamentally play defense in his scheme.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's more than capable of that. But how do you get a young person to play at their very hardest all of the time? That is not a scheme thing, but yet still falls into the coach's job, right?
Yep.
And the problem with, say, Rob Wright, for example, or A.J. DeBonce is that he can't bench them.
Right.
He can't pull A.J. aside and go, if you don't play hard on defense, then I'm not going to play you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that option. He doesn't have that option with Rob Wright. He can't say,
right.
I cannot play you if you don't play defense. The Billy Donovan can't play Cantor.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that option. So how do you get those players, those specifically, but really your whole team, to do and play as hard as you can to win? That's the trick. That's why Phil Jackson won the titles. It wasn't because of the triangle offense or whatever that stupid thing was called.
No, he knew how to push the buttons.
It wasn't because he had a particularly great scheme. It was because he figured out a way to get his teams and his entitled, pampered stars to actually play hard, or at least enough of the time in Shaq's case to win.
Yeah.
That was his secret sauce. Kurt Rambis couldn't get Kobe to play the way Phil Jackson could. That was his magic power. Because people, I think, don't always understand the job of a coach. And the job of a coach in college and the job of a coach at the pros is entirely different, which somebody like Kevin Young discovered last year and someone like Alex Jensen is discovering this year. But how do you get your guys to go out and have buy-in and play as hard as they can?
And I don't know how much more you can ask of AJ. I think that's the really difficult spot. And yeah, Rob, play better defense down the stretch. Like
you can always ask for more.
You can absolutely.
You can always ask for more.
But AJ's been nearly perfect when it comes to what you can expect from a true freshman at the college level. Again, what's he averaging on the season? 25 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 53% from the floor, 36% from three. It's just like, yeah.
It's not that side of the ball we're talking about.
No,
though.
it's
That's
not.
the thing
Again,
about reading box scores. That's not what we're talking about.
I totally agree, and I get what you're saying. I still think there is a limit to how much you can ask certain players, especially younger players who have only been in the league for so long.
I think one of the most...
Or college basketball for so long.
I think one of the most foolish philosophies that has hit basketball in recent decades, and BYU is certainly guilty of this with Jimmer. Oh, you want him to conserve all his energy for the offensive end.
Yeah.
That's garbage. That's just giving somebody an excuse to play lazy.
Yep.
On one side of the ball. Like you hear that stuff about Luka. You want Luka to have all his energy to be able to cook him on the offensive end. It's like you're just you're giving him a pass.
I agree.
To not play defense. And then as a justification, you go, well, 26-7 or whatever you just rattled off there. And it's like, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what is missing necessarily from A.J. DeBonce's game. And if he's got the competitive fire in him, he should try to be the Carmelo Anthony.
I get it. The problem is he's missing, who was it, Buddy Boeheim? Or who? Not Buddy Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim?
Who was the kid that was on Carmelo's team? They had another guard who almost
never missed shots.
They had a couple of guys who actually did play in the NBA. Now, most of that was because they were on Carmelo's team. But, that's the problem at BYU right now is the entire bench doesn't do anything, And I know they got some contributions off the bench in this game, but BYU's problem right now is not at the top of the roster.
I don't think that's why they're losing, though. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying it's not an issue. I'm not disagreeing. I mean, of course, everything is nuanced. But I think it's the slow start stuff.
Of course,
and I think it's the not digging in on defense stuff. It manifests itself in a variety of ways this year. Whether it's giving up 90 points or getting down 15 early. It's where's the competitive edge? This team. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm not trying to barbecue anybody,
You're
but
right, they're soft.
There's not the competitive edge. That's their problem. That's their flaw. And we've seen the hard part is you beat Iowa State. That's hard to do. You have it in you. That is a hard thing to do against that particular opponent in the way that they play. It wasn't fun to beat Iowa State. It was hard to beat Iowa State. So it's there, but then you just didn't learn the lesson. Remember when we were talking about, I bet the slow start thing when they get an eye open and being like, oh man, well, I got to really play hard if we're going to do this thing. That's never really come, which is the coach's problem, honestly. The coach has got to figure out a way
to motivate his team.
And to get them to do what it takes to win. Did you hear, speaking of our guy, Bert Yormark, did you hear his line the other day? It was a good one, I thought. He was like, I'm the commissioner of the second best basketball conference in the world behind the NBA.
Behind the NBA.
It was a great line.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's really true. So if you're going to win and be successful in this league, it's going to be hard. And you're going to have to guard, and you're going to have to play defense, and you're going to have to play tough. That's a fact. And I don't think this team does that 100% of the time. They just don't.
The great balance of basketball. It's why no one's ever solved basketball. It's the most talented team doesn't win every night they step on the court. That's true. There are teams that are clearly more talented, and nobody goes 82-0. So that's the fun part about this, and that's where Kevin Young's got to try and figure it out. And if you don't, that becomes a very difficult situation moving forward for how do you build a team, because you never say no to top-tier talent. How do you get top-tier talent and then keep the motivation high where just showing up is not good enough?
Yep.
And that's where BYU, I think, is running into a problem, because, again, they are way more talented than West Virginia. They're way more talented than Cincinnati now without JT Toppin. They're way more talented than Texas Tech to close the season. They're going to be more talented than most teams they play in the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 tournament. But the danger is you can run into an Arizona or a Houston or, several teams now in the Big 12, Kansas, that might be more talented than you, and you can lose that game. Or if you roll in thinking your talent's good enough and the other team cares more because they're playing A.J. DeBonsa and that means it's their Super Bowl, they're going to come out and beat you. And BYU has shown that they're susceptible to that.
I mean, this is honestly, it's a tale as old as time. I was told every year in the Pac-12 that USC had way more talent than Utah. Now, I don't know if that was true across the board, but I was told that every year. And USC certainly did not beat Utah every year.
Rarely, it seems.
Because beating Utah was hard.
Yeah.
And USC wasn't willing to do the things to beat a team that played that style. Fingernails and his ilk could not get the stops necessary, and that's not Fingernails' fault, but you get my point. That those teams weren't tough enough to get the stops. It is egregious to let any Utah team score. How many points did they score in the
54-27?
Who's our guy? The tight end for his
Dalton
game.
Kincaid?
Dalton Kincaid,
300 yards
and 3 touchdowns. Stopping Dalton Kincaid is really difficult.
Yeah,
you have to be really tough and you have to be really athletic. Can you imagine 3 touchdowns and 300 yards from a tight end?
Right. It was brutal.
Really? And Utah had no business scoring that many points on anybody ever, but they weren't willing to do the tough things to win those kinds of games.
To be fair, it was 234 yards. 300 was a a high. But that was
how many catches?
I think Cam Rising
16 catches.
Yeah,
it was every play. Yeah,
so,
every play.
Those USC teams I was told had more talent, but it's hard.
Well,
so you gotta dig in and do it to win at the highest level. But my thing I was bringing up is if winning at the highest level is not your priority, then it's not going to get done.
it would be a pretty strong condemnation of BYU basketball to turn into USC football, which is uber talented and kind of a joke once you get on the floor or get on the field.
Well, USC was never a joke, to be fair.
They kind of became a joke. They kind of became a little bit of a walking joke the last couple of years. I mean, we've certainly not hesitated to make fun of what's our guy? Who's their head coach?
Stinkin' Riley. Yeah.
You don't want to be the guy who just recruits pro talent and can't win with them. And that's a conversation you have to make sure that you avoid. You know, that's a reputation you want to avoid. And that is what USC is right now. They are a bit of a joke of a football team because they have all the talent in the world and they have not won anything meaningful in 22 years. So can you avoid becoming that? And, you know, BYU is not at that point, but Kevin Young has the talent right now and they are not on the path to winning anything meaningful right now.
No.
So you got to figure out what that balance has to be. Because, again, you're not going to say no to top-tier talent. You're not going to stop recruiting five-star kids. You've got to get those five-star kids. Then you've got to get them to buy into what BYU is trying to sell. And I don't mean off the field. I mean on the court as far as winning games over a 30-game stretch and then competing at the highest level. Because, I don't know. I don't know if you're a donor, booster, NIL guy, whatever it is, if spending millions on a team and seeing them finish with an 8-8 record in conference is good enough. In fact, I know it's not good.
Got to tell you, I don't think five-star recruits is the wave of the future.
For BYU.
For anyone.
Well, someone's got to get them.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to win.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think one and done. And I like mercenary, really good players, I don't know how that's going to go either.
Let's see. Let me pull up the what's the AP Top 25? Let me see if I can get basketball right now. It does have some young players, but like Michigan right now, Yoxel Lenenberg's their best player. He was a huge transfer from the lower levels up to D1 last year and now moved over to Michigan this year, and he's their best player, and he's going to be a top 15 pick. But you're right in the sense that he was never a 5-star.
Nobody
recruit.
ever heard of him coming out of high school.
Right. So to get to this point now Duke is trying to buck that. Duke has Cam Boozer, and he's their best player, and they're trying to prove that they can win.
Yeah, but if you can't compare yourself to Duke. It's just.
I wonder if that's what some people at BYU want to do. Certainly the donors say if we can go out and get A.J. DiBonsa, who's getting drafted above Cam Boozer, why can't we be BYU, or why can't we be Duke of the West?
Duke is just based on who they are at such the ultimate advantage. And maybe BYU can be like this in a sense where they can get Cam Boozer, but they can also get old and stay old because they're Duke. And everyone wants to stay there and everyone wants to come there. And I'm guessing that they're pouring a ton of finances into that program, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
putting in football.
I don't know. Duke's kind of a strange animal.
And comparing yourself to Duke is probably a bad concept.
But I don't know if the one and done is the ticket to ultimate success in college basketball anymore.
Arizona's got some one and dones, and again, Koa Pete's going to be a first-round pick, but he's not their best player by any stretch. So, Michigan's got an older team.
Ironically enough, if you could talk like 3 second-round level players into playing for you till they're juniors or seniors, I think those types of teams are going to beat one and done teams. That was the thing with BYU is you were hoping that they could bring some of their veteran scrappiness from last year and then combine it with Rob Wright and A.J. DiBonsa, right? That was the theory, and it hasn't worked out that way, obviously. So I don't know. Just the one and done player, I don't think it's going to get you there. I mean, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper went a whole lot of nowhere last year for Rutgers. And I bet you this, and no offense to Ace, but I bet you if you talked to him if his heart was really in it last year, I'm guessing the answer is going to be no.
Yep. He may not be able to tell you that at this point, but he probably doesn't know what it takes to win at that level yet. They just don't. It's hard to get there.
Like that?
It was just honestly just a blip in his journey.
Yeah.
That's why, honestly, the one and done thing needs to go. It really does.
I kind of do wonder if you just get rid of it entirely.
It's not doing college basketball any good. I think the theory behind it was to keep NBA franchises from making mistakes. I don't think it's really accomplished that. So who are you really doing it for? Certainly not the young person. I think it hurts college basketball. I don't think it helps.
Certainly having the stars come through is not the worst thing, but has it made the product better? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, it probably hasn't.
No.
Again, Michigan's old. They're good because they're old.
And Duke, I don't know, did the attention Zion brought to college basketball really, really benefit? I mean, Duke was going to get that attention anyway. And I bring up Zion because he was the most recent phenom we've had. Maybe Cooper Flagg, but I don't think he was on Zion's level. Right?
Right.
Well, anyway, the recipe with BYU right now certainly is not.
It's not working.
They're not getting the most out of their players. They're just not. They shouldn't be losing to West Virginia, and they shouldn't be losing like that.
Like that?
If you're watching us on YouTube, I was pointing at
the
Chris.
camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us? No!
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben.
How's your arm?
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. God, I'm annoyed.
Is your MRI right after the show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you got it. There's a little bit of a time
I
crunch
was
here.
wondering why you're doing that form right now, but that makes sense.
Well, good news for you guys. I'm quitting. I'm not doing it. So you know what? They can not give
You're
it to me.
quitting
That's
the
fine.
show?
No.
But you're
I'm
not getting the MRI.
I'm quitting the process. If they don't want to give me an MRI, then fine. I don't care. Yeah, I cry a little every time I try to wash my hair. But you know what?
It's fine.
I don't care.
You're just going to have to live with it
I'm just going to live in this stupid sling
for the rest of your life.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else, Ben. Is that all right?
Please.
Can we talk about what's going on at USC? Because I actually think this plays into our conversation about BYU and where things in general are going in college sports, and why I would almost rather do anything than be a college coach. I can't imagine actually wanting to do something like this. But enter one Chad Baker-Mazara. Ben, he's a basketball player. He's currently, or was, USC's leading scorer. He's actually 26 years of age.
Right.
He's played at USC after playing at Auburn, San Diego State, Duquesne, and Northwest Florida State.
Yeah. Northwest Florida State was in the middle of those stops. He started at Duquesne, went to San Diego State, transferred down to Northwest Florida State, back up to Auburn for 2 seasons, and then now is at USC.
Now, after Bronny James got the last coach fired, do you remember who? Actually, didn't he leave to take what job was it? It was like a lesser job.
Yeah, it was a lesser job.
SMU? Anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You remember who they hired? Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
Who is notoriously not a nice person. In fact, it was reported during the transfer process, and I'll read from this tweet. So Chad Baker-Mazara said several people told him during the transfer process that he and USC coach Eric Musselman's personalities, quote, weren't going to connect, unquote. But he added at the time, so far that's been the opposite, but apparently. So that's before this game against Nebraska, Ben, where USC Chad Baker-Mazara left the game with an injury. And did you see this video? Did you see?
Took a hard fall, I think on a blocked shot, left, and then returned to the floor, but not to the game.
No, he just sat.
Or maybe the other way around. He returned to the game, but not to the floor.
He just sat in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like grabbed a second row seat.
Yeah. Spill over next to other people on the team.
If somebody actually paid for that, do you think they were bent? Like, I just went to get some
That's my
popcorn.
seat.
I came back and there's a player
Yeah.
sitting in my seat.
Like not even on the bench with the team.
No, sitting
Is
in
that-
the crowd.
Is that Chad? Chad's
in his uniform too.
Yeah, he's on the baseline.
Chad, can I sit in your seat?
But he is. He's not even like the one spot removed. There are 2 people between him and the bench. So everyone was wondering, like, did he get hurt and it's a season-ending injury, and he just realized, well, I'm out of eligibility. There's no reason for me to go back out there.
He basically quit the team. So it's not he's hurt. I mean, the USC announced yesterday that he was no longer a member of the team.
Correct. So, but initially the thought was, oh, did he get hurt and recognized the season was over, so he didn't come back to play? No, and now he's no longer on the team, and he is notoriously, hence 5 colleges in his 6-year career.
He's kind of a piece of work.
He runs hot. It's kind of his thing. He has, as Bruce Pearl said, his former coach at Auburn, he has bad days. And it sounds like these bad days finally caught up to him. And despite the fact that, yeah, he's a pretty good player on a decent team, not a great team, but a decent team, his run is over.
Enter into the conversation Gilbert Arenas. This is kind of an aside, but is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Gilbert's son is on the team. And Gilbert tweeted out, said, nah, man, we not accepting this USC hoops. Call Chad and say y'all sorry. There was a mix-up. We trying to make the tournament. Put our feelings in our pockets, USC. Tourney run. Which, to me, is pretty hilarious. But what Gilbert is advocating is actually the problem, in my opinion, with college sports, is that, you enable all sorts of the most unproductive behavior.
Nonsensical behavior.
Just because, we got to have that guy to make a
He's the
tournament
best
run.
player on the
Yeah,
team.
or the highest scorer or whatever you enable. And especially with players going from place to place to place to place to place, you just don't have the ability anymore to coach good habits. I mean, and I'm sure somebody like Eric Musselman just hated this guy because he's all about hard coaching, which I know is falling out of fashion, but it's falling out of fashion for this reason.
Yeah. Here's the thing, to go back to our conversation about AJ and what I want to make sure is not coming across, which is that it sounds like AJ is nothing but a fabulous person. Just like does everything right, works hard, shows up, does the media after the games, when they lose, when they win. He's not too high after losses. He's not too low, or high after wins, too low after losses.
It doesn't seem like he's super entitled.
No,
I
he
would
is
agree with that.
He does all of that extremely well. He shows up where he's supposed to show up. He takes part in things off the floor when he's supposed to take part in them. Like, AJ's an A-plus person, which is going to really bode well for him, and credit to his family and his dad, who's always around for helping keep him on track, whatever that means. But you're right. You become a little bit indentured to the highest paid person on your team. And if that's Chad Baker-Mazara, it's a real gamble. It's a real hard spot to put yourself in. And it can hurt you as much as it helps you. And BYU's actually been lucky to avoid that. I will be curious how, again, they address that moving forward when not every person is as perfect as AJ apparently is off the floor. And for USC, it's really biting them. And USC has tried to take the same approach. They do this with their women's basketball team as well. They do not want to be outspent, and they believe they can function without being outspent on the football or the basketball floor.
By the way, these philosophies on how to get the most out of your team is why, coaches that I'll just bring up Rick Majerus, who notoriously did not treat his players all that well. Right, was hard on his players, mean to his players, said some pretty wild things to his players. There was a philosophy behind that. Is if you all hate me, you're going to play at your very hardest to stick it to me. You talk to anybody that was on those U teams that made a run under Rick Majerus, and they all had this band together to endure this experience thing that led to them playing their brains out on the floor. And it's kind of a gross way to get the most out of your team, but it was very effective. So you got to figure out a way to connect with your players. I mean, the muscle man needed to connect with this kid. Honestly, I may not like the behavior and think it's a little entitled and all that sort of thing, but it's still his job.
Correct. He also failed this kid.
Right.
Well, this is a 26-year-old. This is not a kid.
Right.
This kid's born in the year 2000.
And Gilbert Arenas is kind of right. You need talented players to make a run in the NCAA tournament.
Well, this is the bed that Musselman made.
Right.
So he's got to figure out how to sleep in it.
Exactly.
He chose this player.
It's his job to get the most out of that player.
Man, I can't imagine being a donor, though, and cutting whatever check it took to get Mazara, Baker-Mazara, Chad, to come play for your team. And then just as you're getting to the tournament, saying, I cut him. I got rid of him. We're better off without him. I was like, no, you're not. You're not going to be better off without him. I understand that your job is easier, but what do you do with my $2 million that got him here?
So I really did flush that right down the toilet.
That was right down the toilet.
Right down there.
28 regular season games out of him, and I'm not going to see him again. And you're going to ask me for money again next year? Are you insane?
Okay, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, that's the flaw. That's absolutely the biggest flaw. And it happens on the football field. It happens in basketball. I'm sure it happens everywhere. And yeah, the coach needs to be empowered enough to make decisions that he thinks is best for his program going forward. But donors, people cutting the checks, they want immediate results. And you're getting immediately worse results without Chad Baker-Mazara on the floor.
I think you make a great point. It's a fail. Regardless, and you may look at Chad and say, oh, this is not appropriate behavior. But really, it's a fail for the muscle man. It was his job to get that player productively playing for USC in March.
Yes. Or don't ask anyone to give you money for that player.
Oh, even if
Go
money
for a different player.
Even if money weren't involved. This is my point. Even if money had nothing to do with it. It's his job to get that player to play at his best for USC. That's 100% his job.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, regardless, it's a fail. It would have been a fail in 1995 if this happened.
Yep.
Now it just happens that I think it's a little more difficult because the money is involved. And so now entitlement is times 1,000. And now you do have cranky boosters who are grumpy about paying money for players that get cut. Yeah, I would hate to be a college coach.
I am glad that this isn't the conversation that we're having with A.J. DiBonzo or Rob Wright or even Richie Saunders having to pay him to come back. I'm sure it was not cheap for anybody. I'm glad that's not the conversation. Regardless, it's are you getting the results that we're paying for? And do you feel entitled enough to be able to make the decisions you need to? And honestly, I don't know where else Kevin Young can go to try and get better results on his team right now. I think this is the limitations of the team that they put on the floor. But it doesn't necessarily mean that makes his job easier. The same way Muscle Man's job is not easier. I know it's not Muscle Man. I know it's Muscle Man, but
no, I saw him take his shirt off after a tournament win.
Yeah. At Arkansas?
It's Muscle
Is that where
Man.
it was?
Yeah.
Screaming.
Very fit.
Or was he at UNLV before that? Where was he? Is he in Nevada? He was
at Nevada.
He was in Nevada, and then he went to Arkansas, and then he went.
Do you think he felt like he had to live up to the name? Like
Muscle Man?
If his name was Eric Flabby Glutes.
Yeah. Lanky. Eric Lanky.
Would he have to live up to it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what if his name was Eric Portley?
Not a lot of thing guys. The last name of Portley. You're right. You're right. So, yeah, I think
So if your name was Ben Portley and your fiance came to you and said, hey, hon, you got to tighten it up.
Yeah.
Your response would be, what do you want? You married a Portley.
Yeah, you married a Portley, man.
You married a Portley. You kidding?
I come from a long line of Portleys.
The name alone implies I carry an extra 15 to 20. Come on.
I have to. I'm a party animal.
But so Eric looked at Muscle Man and was like, oh, I guess I can't be Portley.
So I got to start lifting.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll wrap up the show. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and on soul. Loves his tie-dye, Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Jake and Ben, with your discussion on giving yourself compliments through Twitter and email, do you remember when the West Valley City Mayor began writing articles about things under a pseudonym, giving West Valley compliments and himself compliments on things? I'm a citizen of West Valley, and it still lives in my brain at how classless that was.
Hello, my name is Scott J. Yes, Scott J. And I just want to say that Jake Scott is the best radio host ever on the planet. Again, my name is Scott J.
Shout out to Scott J. and Kyle.
Yeah. And
Excellent, excellent submissions. Gotta tell ya.
2011, the mayor of Best Valley.
It was a Winder, right?
It was Mike Winder.
Mike Winder.
Yeah.
Sending, I think it was letters to the editor.
Richard Burwash was his nickname.
Richard Burwash? That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound fake at all.
Yeah, Richard Burwash.
Oh, thank you for the reminder of that controversy,
Really
because I
funny.
remember that one well. That one was funny.
Yeah.
I know. I know how I'm going to keep this job.
What was Mitt's pseudonym? That was really funny.
No.
Pierre Delecto.
Was that what that?
He had a burner, right? He had a burner Twitter account, Pierre Delecto. And it was the most Mitt Romney thing because it was like wholesome and like kind of nice guy stuff. Because Mitt is apparently just like actually a very nice person. And yeah, he had Pierre Delecto. It was really funny. But it's no Richard Burwash.
I mean, Ron Mexico was still the greatest pseudonym, right? Am I getting that right? For a name ever. Although, you know, and we always bring this up, but I got to go with Bobby Williams and Tori Ellis.
Tori Ellis. Pretty good.
Bobby Williams being the best one because you can see, like, if you haven't heard the story, Robert Whaley and Darren Williams got in a fight
in Park City.
In Park City at the time, Harrio's. What's it called now? I don't even know.
No idea.
Anyway, the cops had to come. Robert Whaley cut his hand. Missed some time because he cut his hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, they lied to the cops about their names, which seems hilarious for NFL or NBA players. But Darren Williams told the police his name was Tori Ellis, and Robert Whaley told the police his name was Bobby Williams, which is so funny to me because you can see his thought process, right? Like, okay, my name's Robert.
My name's Robert.
Bobby, and then looks right over at Darren Williams and goes, Williams.
It's when that was probably a great pill to swallow for Darren Williams to be like, I got to make sure I'm hanging out with smarter people. You can get in trouble. Don't get in trouble with the dumbest guy on the team.
Like Tori Ellis, like that's fairly creative.
Fairly creative.
Way to go.
And even then, you got to know they're going to check your ID and find out you're not a real person. But yeah, you get in trouble and you realize the guy you're getting in trouble with is dumber than you and is using a combination of his and your name.
Bobby
You're in trouble.
Williams. By the way, those were both inspired by our conversation last week that we should start sending fake emails to the entire company and tweets complimenting our...
Because you got one from Russ.
Russ sent a
year plus ago now. Russ got mad that you think you're the smartest guy in the room. And he basically reply-alled.
He emailed the whole company.
He did it to sports@ksl.com or something, and it just blasted everybody. And so we thought we needed to combat that.
By sending nice things.
Yeah. By going, what did we decide our name was? Richard Burwash? Richard Burwash. Or Anthony Weiner, Carlos Danger, was a very good name as well. Bad story.
Bad story.
Bad story.
Bad story.
I'd forgotten Richard Burwash. That's a pretty good name.
Anthony Weiner. Man, is that guy trying to run for something again? Do you remember? He's tried to run for something like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you just need to, for your own good, disappear from the public conversation.
Yeah. It would be better for you to go away.
Like, did you see, or I saw the other day, I was reading page 6 or something that Matt Lauer's people are putting out feelers about a possible return. And it's like, Matt, bro.
It's going to be better for you to disappear.
Better for you, better for everyone if you just decide to not make a television comeback. Why don't you write a book or something, Matt?
Yeah, something. A mea culpa. Yeah, and see if you can sell some books.
I was thinking like fiction.
Sure.
But yeah.
Under a
like
pseudonym.
I don't want to. Under a pseudonym, exactly. Or you write like like mystery novels or something.
Be a good turn.
Or he made $1 zillion. He was making like $20 million a year at the end.
He should be fine.
You just take a nap.
You would hope he'd be fine. But anyways, good callers. Always use the call-in feature.
Oh, I was about to say no. I'm not going to come up with that idea. That could be bad. I was going to start advocating for Salazar emails, but I don't think we should.
Who were our callers? Blake.
Blake was the first one talking about West Valley.
Yeah.
And then
Scott J.
Kyle was going by Scott J.
Blake and Kyle. Shout out. Appreciate you using the call-in feature.
We love the call-in feature. We love playing those. And our listeners, by the way, are way hilarious. Mm-hmm. So
funnier than we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank goodness.
And then we always say this because we do like to include our podcast listeners from the future. Just identify this is for Jake and Ben. Yeah. So that way the rest of the shows on the station don't steal our/your A material because they do that.
Yeah. Steal everything.
Scotty G would play that thing in a heartbeat.
Jazz going to get a win tonight over Denver?
No.
I don't think.
Over under 35 for Jokic.
I'll say under because he doesn't need it, but he can accidentally. Every once in a while, he will send a message, and he might be a guy who comes out and sends a message to his Denver team that says, if you don't pick it up, I will. And he's also not been playing particularly well. Now, him not playing well is a 20-point triple-double, but I do think they're going to need kind of a rallying cry going into the playoffs. So I could see him coming out and trying to put up 18 points in the first quarter, knowing that there's not anybody there guarding him. And sometimes he does put on his scoring cap and says, all right, I'm just going to go out there and show that I can get 50 if I need to. And he doesn't need 50 tonight, but maybe he comes out and tries to get 25 in the first half just to send the message to his team that, all right, there's a quarter of the season left, which I can't believe there's actually still that much basketball left, but there's 20 games left in the season. Time to really buckle in.
Well, and he's got Phil on.
And he's got Kyle Filipowski or Oscar Tshiebwe, or maybe we'll see Mo Bamba make his Utah Jazz debut.
Kevin Love out?
Kevin Love is out for rest.
That's probably on purpose.
Uh-huh.
You want me to go prop up Jokic?
No, thanks.
I think I'll rest that game.
Yeah.
You've earned it, Kev.
Have a day.
Let Oscar have at it. Hanson, Scotty G are coming up next. We will talk to you.
Just Scotty G.
Scotty G and friends are coming up next.
Thanks, Christian.
Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.